Hi folks, welcome to my channel. Today, as you may have guessed by the thumbnail, I'm going to be giving you my first impressions and review on the Clairefontaine PASTELMAT paper. And whilst I'm talking you through that, I'm going to be finishing off the dog portrait I started in last week's video, which I'm doing on the PASTELMAT paper using a variety of soft pastels. If you missed last week's video and want to see the first part of the drawing, then I'll put a link in the card above so you can go and check that out and find out too what my top 5 tips for a successful art commission are. Today though is all about the PASTELMAT paper, which I've been curious to test out for some time now. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe, and hit the bell icon too to be notified each time I upload a new video. I did also mention last week that we've reached 500 subscribers on this channel, and I just wanted to thank you all again so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. I am going to be doing a 500 subscribers giveaway, but because everyone is probably a bit busy next week, I'm going to postpone that video till after the holidays. I am still hoping to get another video up next week though, so do look out for that. Before I begin talking about the PASTELMAT paper itself though, I thought I'd tell you quickly which pastels I've been using on it to see if it makes a difference to its performance. And I tried quite a mixture of different brands in firstly the stick format like the Unison soft pastels, as well as the Sennelier brand, which are both great for covering larger areas quickly and easily. I also used soft pastel pencils for my drawing, and again used a combination of different brands which I've collected over the years. The first of these is the Stabilo Carbothello set, which although soft do keep a nice point and have a good range of colours. Next are the Faber-Castell Pitt pencils, which are slightly harder but great for fine details as they keep a nice point for longer. For the blending of the pastels I use a mixture of blending stumps and a few soft makeup sponges as well, but all the items are listed in the description box below if you want to go and check them out. So with all that said, let's talk about the PASTELMAT paper by Clairefontaine, whilst I finish off the drawing of this dear little dog whose name by the way is Bongo. So what's the big deal about PASTELMAT paper then? Well, I've seen lots of people use it on YouTube and it's got excellent reviews on Amazon as well. So why haven't I tried it before? Well, honestly, I decided it was pretty expensive and I would rather spend my money on the pastel themselves. But when I was asked to do this commission, I thought it would be super good to use the best quality paper I could buy, as well as use the good quality pastels I already had. So when I saw the trial pack of 7 light coloured sheets, I went ahead and bought them. This trial pack cost me £15.49 on amazon.co.uk for 7 25 by 35 cm sheets, which isn't too bad, but I also knew that I'd have to test them out before beginning my portrait. So I bought a small pad of 12 18 by 24 cm sheets for £14.45 as well. I think there are 3 different size sheets available across the range, and they come in 14 colours in assorted pads, but availability might vary a bit depending on where you live. So having gone ahead and bought some PASTELMAT paper, I was quite surprised when it arrived. Firstly, I was surprised to feel how thick the paper was, and at 360 grams it feels pretty firm and more like card. I was also surprised by the surface texture of the paper, which is a lot smoother than I'd imagined, as for some reason I thought it was going to be more like sandpaper. The manufacturer describes the surface as coarser than velour but softer than sandpaper. Actually, I think the paper feels pretty smooth, not at all gritty like I'd first imagined. It does have a bit of texture to it, which it needs so that the pastel will stick to it. In fact, the manufacturer states that the pastel adheres so well to the paper that there is no need to use fixatives between layers, and they also go on to say that you can add multiple layers to the surface without a saturation effect. So I've used regular pastel paper before and I was a bit sceptical about PASTELMAT, but I have to say that when I first tested out my pastels on this paper, I was really pleasantly surprised. I started off first swatching out some pastel sticks as well as a few pastel pencils, and right from the start I absolutely loved it. Sometimes on regular pastel paper I found that pastel pencils can be a bit scratchy, and I've also found it difficult in the past to use the pastel pencils on top of the sticks, as being harder they can be difficult to layer over the softer stick pastels. but not on this paper. I usually like to block out some main shapes when drawing hair or fur with the bigger stick pastels and then add details on over the top afterwards. But paper I've used in the past has definitely had its limits so far as how much layering you can do. I did not have any issues like that with this paper at all. It was an absolute pleasure to work on. I layered down the stick pastels as a base first with ease and then built up several layers on top using a combination of sticks and pencils to add colour, depth and texture to Bongo's fur. And the good thing about being able to add multiple layers easily is that you can even add lighter fine hair detail over dark layers without worrying about saturation and really enjoy the whole process. Clairefontaine also say that this paper can be used for other dry techniques too, such as pencils and charcoal, so it's really quite a flexible medium. Another bonus to this paper is that because the pastels really stick well to the surface of it, there seems to be much less chalky dust floating around, which is something that can be a concern as you don't want to be breathing that in. But that's just an observation I made, so that may be different if you're using different pastels or even different techniques. Now, one pastel brand that I did want to test out and didn't get round to yet are the pan pastels, as although I haven't got many of these, I really like their smooth vibrant colours and the way you can apply them using the sponge applicators. But I've got no reason so far to imagine that they would lay down any differently to the sticks I'm using today. That said, if you've tried pan pastels on this PASTELMAT paper and found that they do behave differently, do let me know in the comments section, as it would be really good to know. So my first impressions of this PASTELMAT paper after doing Bongo's portrait are that I'm super impressed and I've really loved the whole drawing process from start to finish. I can't really think of anything negative about it at all, but one slight downside, if there has to be one, is that whilst the paper holds on well to your pastels, it also holds on tightly to any pencil sketch you may lay down first to guide you. You can pretty easily lift off pastels with a kneaded eraser to make changes, or clean any smudges for example, but I found it far more difficult to try and remove my initial graphite pencil sketch outline, and this was a bit frustrating. So what I would say is do your outline sketch on a separate piece of paper first, where you can play about with size and proportion and so on, and then once you're ready, transfer your outline sketch onto your PASTELMAT paper to avoid the need for erasing and making corrections which might not be completely erasable. Now, before I go, a quick mention about fixatives. I'm not going to be using a spray fixative on this paper, as most fixatives can darken or affect the colour of your artwork, and I don't really want to experiment on Bongo here, but I have invested in some glassine sheets to lay over the finished portrait to protect it, which is similar to the crystal paper that Clairefontaine use in their PASTELMAT pads to protect each sheet. This has almost got a sheen to it that aims to prevent any of the pastel from smudging or lifting, and will hopefully keep Bongo looking in tip-top condition until he gets to his rightful owner. So to sum up, a lot of people may be put off trying soft pastels due to the dusty, potentially messy drawing process. It can be easy to smudge your artwork, and there is the added concern over how long the finished artwork will last. But this PASTELMAT paper, in my opinion, makes life a lot easier and really allows you to enjoy working with pastels and achieve some beautiful textures and results. They are more forgiving than a lot of mediums, owing to the fact that you can add multiple layers, apply light colours on top of dark ones, and if needs be, you can use a kneaded eraser to lift colour or make changes to your drawing. The PASTELMAT paper, owing to its surface, means the pastel adheres really well and so increases the longevity of the artwork, so it will stay looking good for years to come. And as long as you use a piece of paper or kitchen towel under your hand and work logically from top to bottom, you can minimise any smudging or colour transfer, much the same as you would with graphite, charcoal or even coloured pencils. So this has been a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed the video and watching Bongo come to life in pastels. I'm really looking forward to using this PASTELMAT paper again and would definitely recommend it, and no, this video isn't sponsored. The last thing left to do was to add some final finishing touches and flyaway hairs, and this portrait was done. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.